And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your final live stream before Christmas. Hope you're all doing well. Weather's not very good, is it? But everything else seems to be going well. I haven't even started yet on the go Christmas shopping. I haven't even bought a Christmas card. How crap am I? But that's the way it goes. It's always the same every year. So first I'm going to apologise for last week's diatribe because, of course, purposefully, it was to be the most ridiculous, childish, nonsensical nonsense you can imagine because, of course, the subject matter in relation to the two Migos was infantile in and of itself, so naturally it beget the same because they needed to squirm, they needed to see the nonsense and the stupidity of their behaviour towards other people. So I joined in and we gave it a bit and hopefully they might have learned a lesson. Because this is, when you're shamming and shilling and, when you're lying and up to no good, it only has a finite timeline. There's got to come a point where it comes crashing down. And it would appear for these two, it's not looking very well. And of course, this week, so many people have sent me so much information about these two people. It's not looking good for them. But of course, I'm not going to bother us with that again tonight. I mean, they've had way too much airplay as it is. But in the new year, I will pull together a lot of this data and we'll do a sensible run on these two just to show everybody what kind of characters you've been throwing your money at. So hopefully last week presented itself in such an immature manner to match the immaturity of those two amigos who decided, for no reason whatsoever, to throw the proverbial brown stuff at little old me. So, apologies, but it was deliberate. It wanted and had to be ridiculously stupid. Otherwise, they'd have probably boosted their ego instead of turning it down. But we will revisit that. There's lots and lots of day to come. And there has been a bit of a... Some people have been a bit confused in that they thought Simone Goldenblumers, as I described it, was actually speaking of the Simone the teacher. No. There's the Simone, the female, and then there's Simon the Goldberg. But of course I wanted him to squirm a little bit, and I just thought I'd add that extra pizzazz to take the piss. So, no, the secondary part of that specifically was not aimed at any... the female, it was aimed at him. So just to clarify that, because it would appear that some people were a bit confused. But I thought it were... well, anyway, it doesn't matter what I think, does it? It's what you guys out there think. So that's enough of that malarkey. And of course, it's Christmas, so I thought less of the garbage, the better. And I just thought we'd have a general chit-chat. And what's going well for people we can talk about, rather than all the garbage that's going on at the moment. I mean, and there is all the garbage going on. Mandelson is now chosen, or it would appear, to represent old UK with the US. I mean, this is a small at Bolsheviks extravaganza that we've got going on here. We've got going on in the US. It's disheartening. And you've got the Muskrat now funding Farage. I mean, I've been telling people who Farage was for many, many years, because like the Tory party, after it fell apart, pretty much after John Major, it came into the hands of a very dubious old chap, a Russian Jewish guy called Eric Bekov, and he basically pulled together what was left of the Tory party and then gathered in the Eurosceptics, as was, that had reformed as UKIP. And he was basically the Chief-Arune, moulding the entire Conservative massive into this small-at Bolshevik cesspit. And so it has been so for a long time. So we've had Bolshevism, you might say, down there in Chalkirk, Westminster, since 1997. And people don't realise that, because of course they still believe in the left and the right and the Labour versus Conservative, etc. It's all utter nonsense. I mean, the majority of people in all these political movements now are, if they're not paedophiles themselves, they're victims of it and they protect it. And, you know, you've got Epstein in the mix. He was doing his thing. You've got Jimmy Savile were doing his thing. And you look at most of these people around now that are bigging themselves up, Esther Ranson, Keir Starmer, and a myriad of other people, all in one way or another mentored at some point or connected to Jimmy Savile. What does that tell you? You know? What does it tell you? We have got sexual deviants across our entire political spectrum in the US and here. And that is a sad state of affairs. Make no mistake about it. Bolshevism is rising, and King Cyrus is about to take the throne over there in the US. And the no-hide trust is moving along with ease, because, of course, the hapless masses haven't got a clue what's going on. No idea at all what's going on, because that's how they've been moulded. And, of course, you try to tell them and they go... So, you just have to not bother and just talk to those who already know the crack. Because then you get sensible conversation. And it's yeah, it is. It's depressing. It's so depressing. It's ridiculous. They've just annihilated Syria now. I mean, people need to recognise who ISIS and ISIL actually are. It's the same Bolshevik terrorist organisations. We've just had an atrocity in Germany. I mean, the agenda as relayed out by Abad Lubavitch to make sure that Islam and Christianity tear each other apart is moving along spiffingly, I have to say. I mean, you can see it now it's rising in Germany. It won't be long before it starts to rise here, I'm quite sure. Because people have had enough, people are fed up. And rather than aim their anger at the people that are pulling it in, i.e. politicians, military forces, the police, private security, councillors, corporate, everything corporate. You've got the farmers now running around playing "We Are Fantastic." Let's attack the ports, let's block the roads. Now, I mean, you really are showing yourself to be nothing but Bolshevik puppets, in my opinion. And I'm talking about the big landed gentry there that seem to be gathering in the smaller holdings. You don't block the ports, you don't block the roads, because that affects the food chain, it affects oil. You do what the French did, and you throw the shit at the people and the buildings that are housing those people that are causing the problem. So the English farmers, not very bright if you compare them to the old French. And that, again, is another worrying game, because people are being fooled here and thinking that the farmers are actually on their side. Now, I mean, the smallholders probably are, but they seem to be getting sucked into it. You can see gazillion tractors everywhere. And I noticed a lot of these tractors look very new. So it would suggest that the majority of those taking part have took the huge subsidies over the years and been able to buy a brand new combine harvester, etc., etc. So we're not looking here at struggling farmers in most cases. You're looking here at landed gentry who have been that used now to not farming and getting millions just to buy tractors and such and cut the edges every 2 years, have now found something to do. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't bode well, this garbage that's moving forward now, because people really can't see it. And yeah, we need to wake up to what's going on, because that is not as it appears to be. And so what they've got planned for the new year, who knows? You've got all this nonsense going on over there in the US with these drones. There's a lot of sightings of these drones and orbs going on here. You've got the fruitcakes coming out saying, look, it's a wheel, it's biblical, it's blah, blah, blah. I mean, people need to realise that this whole biblical script that's playing out is a fantasy that's been formed in a term that they use as futurism. Basically, they've taken what's been already before the New Testament, rehashed it, incorporated the New Testament with the Old Testament, and projected it as a future game. That's the great work of the ages. It's been going on for a long time. It's a rehash as what we cancelled out, finished, done with in 70 AD. And that's the sadness. Again, you've got these... I mean, so they're just writing the script, building the script with all this technology that they took from Tesla, while giving you Einstein and nonsense. They've built up this secret game, the military-industrial, with Tesla technology. So it's not spaceship technology, it's Tesla technology. Free energy, magnetism, using mercury, all these substances that they've told you are poisonous, you must keep away from. That's because they don't want you to see, they don't want us getting this stuff so that we can be flying around in our own little craft, anti-gravity and such. It's essential that they get it into your head that this is all off planet. And you can see that Bluebeam is now operational. I mean, it's been operational for a long time in its different forms, but as I discussed last week, but You can see now that the light show, the game is on. So I were out having a fag last night and I could see beams flying in the sky, but apparently it was something going on in the pub. I thought to myself it may have been lasers off Blackpool Tower, because we're not that far away from Blackpool here, and if they were using lasers whizzing on Tower, it would get to this point. But apparently it was just a pub having some kind of gig on or something. But down the south there's been quite a few sightings. There's a lot of reports going on that they've seen these drones or orbs or whatever it is that they're playing. So it seems to be spreading. Whatever's going on over there in the US, they are slowly spreading it everywhere else, because fear factor, isn't it? You know, if they can get everybody to shit itself because there's an outside threat, then everybody will come together under the yoke of the New World Order. And I saw earlier this week that they've actually tested here the carbon credit situation. I don't know to what degree, because I couldn't be asked to read it, to be honest. I'm sort of losing interest now in the in that kind of stuff, because it's just, there's a lot of people on it, there's a lot of people uprooting it, and I just don't feel like it needs me anymore. With my nose in that level, a degree of stuff that's pumping out. It's everywhere. People are pumping it out. It's you know, they're losing the narrative in a lot of cases, which is why I'm expecting quite a lot of diversions. And Diddy, the Diddy game is the diversion of the day, and expect diversions, because there's going to be more coming out about Epstein. And Whitney Webb, for all the sins, if you believe some of those that despise her, has been, you know, like a bit of a pit bull on the old Epstein, not letting it go. And so I believe there's going to be some diversions to stop you from recognising whatever it is that's going to come forward about Epstein. Because, of course, Epstein means blackmail. And blackmail, when it comes to politicians, when it comes to corporate heads, is important for people to recognise. And that's the last thing they actually want people to recognise, is the fact that everybody that's anybody today up there on the platform of the Talking Heads Brigade, in one way or another, are completely controlled by this Bolshevik system, either by blackmail or by the fact that they were rinsed as children and altars created, and are just basically the golem that these people activate to their own ends as and when it's needed. But they're definitely getting ready for a lot of changes. A lot of things are going to come down the pipeline to screw the living shit out of people. That's a fact. That's the whole intention of that with everything. But, you know, keep your eyes on this food situation here as well, because if these farmers carry on playing this game, then pretty soon their game of sort of like, let's rebel, you will start to see pretty quickly is a big part of this. Let's screw up the food chain. Let's screw up transport. And that's what they're... So whoever's leading this farmers' rebellion, we need to start to look at them, who they are, get them outed. You know, let's rinse them. Let's present everything and who they are, who they connect to, before the smallholders jump on board, when really the smallholders should just be busy about growing. You start growing, get your cattle back into your own hands and out of the hands of DEFRA, and then we're back on some kind of quality food. Because it's pretty clear the corporate big boys are poisoning everything. And again, you know, this is happening, and people still seem to be, you know, the milk's still getting sold, people are still drinking it. You know, this is the problem people like me have always had. It's that you can tell somebody something, they'll listen to you, but then they'll go and do it again right away, because it doesn't actually go in. The poison, the damage, the ill health, but they still do it. So there's a disconnect somewhere going on with most people, and that's got to be a spiritual game, hasn't it? That's got to be the resonance that they're resonating at prevents them from actually connecting within themselves what's going on in reality, and the fact that, you know, if they're going to look after themselves and their offspring, they need to make changes. So it's all going on. Just keep your wits about you, basically, But the farmers, these guys, if they're not careful, are going to become a major problem and a major weapon for this Bolshevik communist game, you know. But yeah, I mean, the Tories, UKIP, United Kingdom Independence Party, remember, it's nothing to do with England. It's United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is a corporation. So they want independence from what? What is it UKIP wanted? You know, reform. What are they reforming? Because all they want to reform is to remove you off your land and into a corporate realm so that your estates follow suit. That's all it's about. And Farage is the biggest shill around. He's been on my Facebook for the last couple of weeks. I don't know why. Steve Bannon's been on my Facebook as well for a couple of weeks. Don't know why. I did have a dream the other day about Trump again. So what's afoot, I don't know. But usually when I get a dream about the elite, there's some in the wings. So, but it was a different kind of feeling to this one this time. So I don't know whether they're going to come with an offer or something like that. But you can come and offer me all day, lads. You can kiss my ass. It's not happening. Because I know for a fact that let's say they tried to pull me in, it'd only be to destroy me. So I'm not that stupid, and I'm certainly not that gullible. You know, I've learnt a lot in my time doing this game. And don't waste your time, chaps. Don't waste your time. It's a pointless exercise. So, there we are. Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff for you to consider and contemplate while you're on your holidays for this Christmas. But yeah, expect things to change pretty rapid, I think, when King Cyrus gets in and his lapdog, King of Babylon, who have wrecked my Twitter. Totally wrecked it. So where he can still stand up and claim that he's for free speech is beyond me. It's beyond me completely. So they've got quite a army of shills and people that people think are rebelling in their armoury, and of course I think they're going to unleash these people next year to bedazzle you just enough so you don't actually see the game in the back end, which is all about stealing your estates, people. That's what it's about. Your heritage, your ancestry, your right to your dominion of land as afforded to you in Genesis 1. That's what it's all about. And everything and anything is a deflection off you working that out. And St. Jimmy there agrees. He's agreed with me. So, you know, there you go. Rock and roll says that's what's going on. Rock and roll backs it, not this garbage that they call rock and roll today, which is just basically a wall of frigging noise, isn't it? Let's be honest. There is no music anymore. You might get a bit with the deep house stuff. Sometimes you get a melodic bit of gig that will give you something that's uplifting. But in general terms, the majority of music out there today is degenerative. It's discordant. Like jazz. Jazz were formed specifically as a discordant program to screw people up, which it does, you know. My younger son sent me something tonight, which were interesting. The fact that he picked it up, which, you know, showing frequency and how it affects sound on a plate. And I thought, that's good. He's got his head into that. It's the perfect opportunity to remind him. Be careful what kind of music you allow into your temple, because it will change your pattern, and you will amalgamate with it. You know, you'll resonate with it, and you'll take it on. And the lyrics, you'll take them on as well, but through repetition. The music changes you all by itself because you're dealing with sound, but the lyrics, it's the repetition of a lyric that grabs you, not necessarily its value. And again, that's another part of music that has been used and to perfection by these fruit bats. You know, get a good sound going on, they've got your frequency, and then you keep repeating this garbage, and before long you take it on and you think it's amazing, and the frequency that the music might be picking, grabbing you, you then associate as a memory with that lyric. So you might get, if they're really clever, you'll get a really uplifting tune with a debauched lyric. But when you listen back to that, it's an uplifting thing, and it fools you to think that, well, this lyric must be uplifting. Because it's your subconscious, remember, that what runs you, not your conscious mind. That's quite limited. And it's your subconscious that music and repetition is moving against and forming without your conscious mind necessarily being aware of it. So, you know, it's like, where is the music? There is no music. We need music. We need good music everywhere. So my aim next year, hopefully, is to get some good music going. There's an interesting Australian lass, excellent singer, having a lot of trouble because nobody will sign her or release her record. Why she wants to be signed, I don't know. And Morrissey, believe it or not, is having big trouble getting his album released because they're not impressed with it. There you go. That's where you get your Bolshevik censorship from. Oh, you might offend somebody. Well, I'm not responsible for somebody else's offence. It's ridiculous that that's took hold now, and people are so ridiculous on it. It's again a degenerative principle, and people have took it on. They think it's a higher elevation. Well, when really it's degenerative. It's removing from you your ability to discern, you know, and that's programming, and it's serious programming. Interesting bit on Matt Hancock on the Face 8 earlier this week, I think, as well, where his text messages with one of his hombres when all that nonsense were going on, specifically speaking about behaviour change, because that's what the House of Lords have been operating for about 15 years. Neuberger's got into House of Lords running it, and it were all about behaviour change. Medical behaviour change, using medical for it, but also every other form of expression that they can get out there to change your behaviour patterns, the way you think, so that when they put something out, you'll go for it, thinking it's something good, where in fact what it's doing is constantly attacking your ability to discern what is right and what is wrong, what is not good and what's beneficial. You know, it's and we're at quite a state now when you look out there in La La Land, just to the degree to which people are so stupid, so programmed, and they have no idea that they are. They actually look on some of the older generations that still have the faculties as something wrong with them. Well, there is a lot wrong with older generation. We know this, especially when it comes to alcoholism and stuff like that. But, you know, if the younger generations think they're anything different because they're all on drugs, you might want to think again there, because that's degenerative as well if you do it for too long, especially in relation to your chemistry in your brain. I mean, I remember when I quit after the 90s, it was a 6 month, and I mean 6 months of real low depletion of serotonin, dopamine, etc. The fact that I was aware of the mechanic, I knew what it were, but if you were unaware and you come off, you could fall into the greatest depression, even down to despair, and not realise that that's the cause. So, you know, you've got to be really careful with all this stuff, because you're playing with the chemistry in your brain. Happy, you might be happy on the rush up, and I think the ketamine's the worst, from my experience. I never liked that stuff. I know it was coming in as I sort of stopped, but no, not good. I didn't like that stuff at all, and I know you watch people on it and it makes them very insular. You know, if you were an extrovert, you will never be extrovert again after you've took that stuff for a period of time. And that's what the youngsters are taking as we took alcohol in our time. You know what I mean? That's their thing. As alcohol was our thing and accepted, today that's their thing, and it's as accepted as alcohol was in our day. And that's a difficult one to get across to the older generations, because they, you know, well, what's going on? Well, because it's the norm. That's what they, in their youth had to play with. And yeah, it's not good when you look at it from the big picture side of things, and how people are actually picking it up and not recognising, you know, actually what's going on. Because the thing is as well, if you can get away with doing anything if you're aware of what it is you're doing. If you just think you're just there for fun and joke, that's all you'll get, fun and joke. But if you understand actually what processes are going on when you're pissed, if you take the shroom, if you take the other drugs, you don't get fooled by it. You don't get trapped by it. Is probably the best way, because you're sensing then if you're getting an addiction going on, and you'll pull back. Same with me with alcohol. I always knew it could take you, because you know you get a taste for it, don't you? And then you get that taste at the back of your throat. A bit like when I'm on the magic. Always when I've come off it in the past, I'm still off it now, and I'm not going to go back. But what the biggest thing that I missed was the kick at the back of the throat, because a normal cigarette doesn't give you that. You just get a bit of smoke, whereas the other stuff, you get that kick at the back of your throat. It's like, you know, I used to like vodka and fresh orange. It was that kick on the back of your throat when you had it. Unfortunately, it used to turn me into a lunatic. So, you know, if I started drinking that, everybody would be like, oh, wait. So, you know, I weren't allowed to drink it that often because it did turn me into a nut job. But that kick, you know, I recognise myself, I could get into that. You know what I mean? But if you recognise the patterns of your own self, you can pretty much try anything and come away okay. So everything is about your capacity in how you live. Because if you're thinking, if you're always using your discernment, then nothing's going to creep up on you and capture you, is it? You know what I'm saying? And so you can pretty much play with anything, do anything. And so it is about everything out there. It's not so much about gathering money, gathering this. It's about cleansing yourself so that your capacity raises itself, so that you can see everything that's going on around you, and you don't fall foul of some of these substances, so that it becomes your master. You know, definitely, because I'd say cannabis definitely for me, but I enjoyed it. You know, I actually enjoyed it. Took the edge off, and the game I'd been in for such a long time. It also kept the calm about all the situations that I've dealt with in the past. But I think, having given it up now for almost a year, I could say it's done its job, because now that pattern of calm when you're reacting to things, it's sort of an inbuilt thing now. It's an MO. And I don't need it to actually tap into that keep yourself calm stuff to things that are going on. So it has helped improve me, I think, but definitely being off it for almost a year, I can see there is a major advantage as well, actually, when you come off it, because you're missing a part of yourself that you need if you really need to get on top of things, organise things, and move forward, basically. In whatever it is, and I'd say in whatever it is you're doing. And I didn't use this, you know, I weren't an heavy user like these young ones. You know, what they put in one, it'd last me 5 days. And, you know, that's the degree. So I weren't knocking myself out. It just took the edge off. But in these 12 months, I can see that there is a downside to even that. So it's just, look after yourself. Keep yourself as clear as you can in your thought processes, and you should be all right. So, who's joined us tonight? And I think we should just have a chat, basically. What's going good for everybody? Instead of, I said I weren't going to talk about negative. I've just blasted on for half an hour. So, never mind. So, Jane says, hi Sean and all. Hello, Jane. Nick says, evening all. Very nice intro, Sean. Thank you very much, Nick. And me says the pine tree. Yeah, same genetic DNA structure as us. Cause 1973 has got the shroom, the Christmas tree, and the frog. Evening to you, Cos. Benefactor Sean and the Wise Asylum team, looking forward to your presentation tonight. Well, hopefully it can be your presentation for a change. Yeah, because I've not really got much done this week. It's been quite a busy week. Yeah, so the show is, the floor is yours, Ollie. If you've got something you want to say, and we can discuss it. If you want, we can have discussions. Jerry says, "Happy Christmas, Sean, on the Asylum Christmas do, and to all in the house." Yeah, I thought to myself, should I get myself a bit of the old Moretti and have a scoop? But I thought, no, mate, I haven't been inebriated for such a long time. I don't know what would happen, so I thought better of it. I might do it for New Year's Eve. I might have a bit of a jolly with you on New Year's. See where that goes. That could be fun. Yeah, I can get excited. Well, I suppose you saw a little bit last week, but last week that were meant to be pedantic because, you know, these people need to wake up. Shaking. You're pathetic. You're so infantile. It's ridiculous, you know, and you need to recognise how infantile you are. You're not big and you're not smart, and the way that you attack people, you know, he's had one guy lose his job, spitting the dummy out, getting onto people's employers and making up false accusations. Them are the traits of the small hats, It's not a good trait. Not a good trait at all. So good evening, Jerry. Paul says, good evening, Sean and fellow inmates. Evening, Paul. Chris R, don't let the bastards grind you down, Orchid. Nobody's grinding me down, bud. It's, no, honestly, don't even give it a thought it's no, not at all. I mean, people have sent me a lot of stuff this week, and it's serious stuff, so we will revisit that. But in the new year, and it won't be a pedantic, it'll be a serious, here's who they are. And we'll do it that way. And as I said, you know, if you're going to hit me, well, that's fine. But make sure you're not living in a greenhouse, lad and lass, because I like to throw stones when I'm excited. So evening, Paul. Evening, Chris. AMG says, hi Jane, evening everybody, evening AMG. June says, Farage is another Benedict Ireland. Yeah, absolutely. And he were on my Facebook, and what's he called? Steve Bannon. So what are they up to? There's something going on. There's something afoot with them fruit bats. I can tell they there. So let's wait and see what they try and send. So evening, June. Farage, yeah, evening to you, June. Lauren Rizzler says, hi Sean, all in the chat. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to you, Lauren Rizzler. June says, good evening, Sean, in chat. Evening, June. AMG, yeah, Slipknot. Alright, Sean, alright, everyone. Hey, how you doing, Slipknot? You alright, mate? I've found a chemical, and I can't remember what it's for, so I'll give you a bit of a tinkle. So as I've unpacked, and I'm thinking, I forgot what that's for. So we'll have to have a bit of a chit-chatty week, bro. Evening to you, Slipknot. Martin says, evening, Sean. Spot on. Good evening to you, Martin. AMG says, hi, Rizzler. SIA badge approved, so working again. Good for you, mate. Benefactor, the great taking by David Rogers Webb explains how they come after your assets. Well, I can clearly see that in this case that we've had going on for 10 months. Because, make no mistake about it, unless, so, you know, we did that court case in November, and it was very interesting, I'll say, and it's always good in hindsight when you can look back at something and you analyse it and you think, But, so what we've done again now, we're now focused to how you redeem your standing. And So we've been, and as I said, a colleague and I, for the last 3 years, we started right back at the beginning and began everything etymologically. We went through every word. We have so much data, it's quite unbelievable. But however, you don't actually need to keep going back to the data, because in that 3 years, as we went through every scenario, we went right back to the Bible, through the church, through the timelines, to the birth, the placenta, etc. We went through every word of importance etymologically. We went for its legal definition. We went for its English grammar definition. And the universe is always there, just there watching. And you'll get to a point you think, oh, and then bang, the universe will throw something in for you, and you're like, And very interestingly, in this last few weeks, because of course, after that court case, you can pretty much see now where they're at, where you need to be. And again, the universe, it's back. The stuff that you need, the data, the information, the way you need to present, it's all there. And having done that for 3 years, it's surprising that now, whereas before you'd read something and you think, I don't get that. It's just, you're there, you've got it, you know it, you've gone through the nitty-gritty of it. And, so now it's back to working out exactly what a trust is and how a trust works. And the Bill of Exchange, very important. SQV Act, very important. But, and this is the kicker, and we have spoken these terms before, but let's put it in this manner. So you've got nations were set up, okay, kingdoms with monarchs. These were commissioned by what I would suggest was the old version of the church, based mainly on the gospel. Now I know people go, yeah, but all these inquisitions, yeah, okay, but that were carried out by the Dominicans, okay. It was a separate sort of group, and the Jesuits, you're looking at them as well. But even though it's all tied in and wrapped up in one barrel, it's not that simple when you actually get into the crux of it, Because you've got to remember, you've had the church and you've also had the Holy Roman Empire. And even though the Holy Roman Empire has always presented itself as being obedient to the popes, you've got to go back to that Charlemagne agreement, which basically was, if you recognise me and all my successors in perpetuity as the leader of the Holy Roman Empire, then my kin will always protect your throne. But the thing is, when you look at some of these popes, a lot of these popes were actually Holy Roman Empire family puppets. So it's sort of being the warrior caste as it's been. It's had control of the papacy for a very, very long time. And I'd say with the exception of Pope Pius X, who I'd class as a real, proper pope, if you get my saying. Now, this might cause a bit of controversy for some people, but also, the pope that Francis removed, when I looked at some of his efforts and his works, he came across as quite a decent guy in what he was saying. So it's a strange game when you get into that kind of thing. But there's always been this two-sided thing. There's been the Holy Roman Empire and there's been the church. But originally, when we go back to when these kingdoms were set up, and Alfred set up England, and Alfred had been tapped by the Pope as a child. So what Alfred created was commissioned by Rome, whether we like it or not. And so then we're looking at, if we're going to gain our standing biblically, you're not going to get it in UK, because that's a corporation. You're not going to get it in Great Britain. Again, it's an occupation title. You're only going to get your standing from which you're dominion rights were originally based and the trust, they took that into trust, you're going to have to go back to England. So you're not looking at the Bill of Rights, you're not looking at this corporate or parliamentarian set of laws, because you could still get trapped. Now, I don't know, but if we're looking for law that are standing on England, then we're going right back to Magna Carta, because that wasn't created by a parliament. You've then got the provisions of Oxford, which you could say is the first parliament. But if you're going to move on your standing back to sort of obfuscate these corporate systems that, as they've moved a new trust in, they've created a new system, a new set of laws, and then a new title to trap you in. You've got to go back to England. So that's what I'm looking at. To regain your standing as the beneficiary of your estate on dominion rights, you've got to go back to England, without a doubt. So, Bill of Rights may carry in some points, but the common law and the equity, that's where you're going to have to look. That's where you're at. But what you haven't to do, and what you've to sort of rebut, is the fact that you're not coming in as the debt, you're certainly not coming in as the title that the United Kingdom is administrating, etc. So even in this last couple of weeks, it's been an interesting shift again as we get ready for this next hearing, which has been set for March. So we've had the case on the 18th. It's a brand new case, which I was expecting, because of course they've made such a mess of the other one, and we pulled them on it, on every mistake they've made. They've now come with a completely new case, and they've changed some of these liability orders that this judge insisted they do. So their claim is no different, really. So there's not much work needs to be done in relating to rebutting anything new. And we have to get our rebuttal in by the 22nd of January. So we have a bit of work to do, and I've got some effort to put in as well in January. And then we get to play it out in March. So it's still an interesting extravaganza. But my point at the beginning was, it really is going to come down, these things now. They've got it so embedded, and they're so blocking you and not giving you what you want, and letting these slick barristers just take over the court. You're going to have to come in with dynamite, basically, in order to get... Because look at it another way, okay? When you go into the court at first, your first point of sort of conflict is with the judge. Because you're going to come in and you're going to say, hey, I'm not the deceased estate. I'm coming in as the absolute beneficiary for the life estate. And he's going to say to you, yeah, well, so is Mr. Young here? No, I'm here as the beneficiary. Is the defendant here? No. Oh, well, the court will have to make reference to the fact he hasn't turned up. Mr. Young hasn't turned up, we're going to bum you. So there's your first point of battle, where that's your first. But remember this: if he's going to acknowledge that your person hasn't arrived, then your next move is, well, then you're going to have to recognise that whomever it is the plaintiff's supposed to be has not arrived because he's using counsel, which means everything that this counsel's going to say is hearsay. He's not witness. He's not first witness to this. Now, once you get past that point, and this is another important point that really embedded itself when we did this last gig, and that is when you get past that, then you're no longer doing battle with the judge. But most people don't, that's not the mindset that they have after that. Once you've achieved that first session, you're only then doing battle with Slick, whoever that might be, the prosecutor. The judge is then just there as an umpire. Now, that's a mindset that people need to click. You've done that first bit with the judge, argy-bargy, and as long as you can hold that, then from that point on, you're not doing battle with the judge anymore. Your battle is with Slick. And that's an important sort of thing I've come to see from that court case. So very important, because then you're going to rebut. Well, you don't even necessarily need to be rebutting. You need to come in armed with something that the judge has to act on, because you're going to bring in something that moves the judge your way rather than because it defeats his. And that's the format that you've got to bed in your mind here with this stuff. Yeah. So it's been an interesting few weeks since November. Let's put it that way. Where did we get to? Benefactor, yeah, we've done that. David Rogers, the Great Taking, yeah. Lorraine says, evening everyone. Hope everyone is keeping well. Good evening, Lorraine. Evening, Sean says, Lorraine. Evening to you, Lorraine. Slipknot, it's a movie. It is all bollocks, you're quite right, mate, but it's going to bite. It's going to bite hard. Because the hapless majority out there in La La Land are the majority. That's the unfortunate thing. Cheds one says the war of all against all. Rudolf Steiner explains what's happening. I mean, I like Steiner's stuff. He was a very intelligent man, and I've said this before. A lot of people poo-poo him because he tied himself in with the Theosophical Society. But this is the way it works. When I was in the mystery school back in the day, you've entered a spiritual game, okay? And it's your game. You're on that path. So then you've got both sides trying to pick you up, trying to pull you to their understanding. And I can't tell you how many secret societies, cults, covens, all of them. Because they have to do, that's part of the path. Cross your path. Because they want to get you affiliated in one way or another for whatever you might do in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because then they can get you to kill you, get yourself to knock yourself off. And I don't mean that by suicide, but I mean it by getting it wrong. They can claim you. And I think that was going on definitely with people like Steiner. Just because you were affiliated doesn't necessarily mean you have to take everything he said as being a part of what Theosophy were pumping out. Which is why when you study a lot of the Theosophical stuff, there's a lot of good stuff in it. A lot of what was hidden, because of course religion won't let you look at it, came through the release of Theosophy, or Royal Society, because that's what was behind it all. So yeah, Steiner, he's got some good stuff. Now what they've created now, off the back of Steiner, these schools, I would suggest is certainly not teaching the essence of what Rudolf Steiner were actually presenting. They present themselves as being of Rudolf Steiner's gig, but I don't think so. I think they're doing something very strange to some of these students that get educated by those organisations. So yeah, Steiner, definitely a fine mind is Steiner. So yeah, I agree there, Cheds. He does tell you exactly what's going on. Big E says, hey folks, greetings all in the asylum this fine evening. Good evening to you, Big E. We've had some hellish wind up here this last couple of days. So you've got it nice and fine down there in Devon. Good stuff. Gaia says, new latifundia. Well, I'd have to agree with that as well, Gaius. Absolutely. Good evening to you, sir. Lorraine says, this week's Light Paper has a good article on the current farming crisis, war on food. Does it sort of concur with the sort of narrative as that I was just giving? Because I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I'm not liking what I'm seeing one bit. So would I be on the right path there, Lorraine? And talking of music, says Lorraine, does anyone think that Sean looks like Paul Eaton of Beautiful South? What? Go on. Well, I don't know. All right. Well, you just ruined my image. I thought I would kick ass rock and roll, not bloody them puffs. Anyway, Well, anyway, Lorraine, if that's what I look like to you, then that's what I look like to you. You've ruined my day. Look, St. Jimmy's going, he's laughing. St. James is laughing. He's saying, no, he's one of our boys, him. He's a rock and roller. I don't know. All right, Lorraine, I'll go with that. So the Lone Rizzer says, AMG working at the moment won't be here much. Mental job. 1 shift on this site, 5 attempts to fence and 1 threat, all in the first 35 minutes. What are you up to, man? AMG says, stay safe. I'm head doorman at a strip club. What's that? Do I get free entry at AMG? Lone Rizzer, well, that's shut up like it does. Here we go. The Lone Rizzer says, fair play to you, it's tough at the top, mate. Jerry Sonamick says, all so hard. Yeah, they are hard. Yeah, they are as nails. Rambo. He actually is Rambo. Why do you think he calls himself Spaniard? He thinks he's a gladiator. Honestly, if that's what... I don't remember gladiators sending threatening letters to little old ladies telling them we were going to rob them with the knickers, do you? I think Maximus would have kicked their heads in. So he's obviously a bit of a fantasist, his lad. You know, he thinks he's Rambo and Maximus. And sends letters, threatening letters, and if that doesn't work, he rings your boss up and tells lies. Well, Maximus didn't tell lies, did he? And he didn't attack your grandma. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's there for everybody to see, if they want to see. Lone Rizzer's laughing. Yeah, good stuff, man. Treen! Hello, Treen! How are you doing, Chuck? Treen says hi to everybody. Lorraine, I noticed, Treen, in that you sent, so they've used DDPR on the fact that the property's in a private trust, isn't it? Is that where they've sort of been able to pull that in, GDPR? Is that? It looks like that to me. So I'm trying to work out how I can formulate it by some method other than the fact that the council have shared private data with third parties, i.e. solicitors, who have then shared it with all sorts of nonsense. So that to me is a breach. But yeah, it's a good one, but it does look as though it more has got its binding on the fact that it's in a private trust, so I don't know. But thanks for that anyway, Treen. Lorraine says, hi, Treen. Jerry says, gutsy Treen. Oh, yeah. Okay. AMG says, I'm a West Country boy. I was breastfed on cider. Good for you, lad. Well, we used to do, God, back in the 80s. New Era disco every Wednesday. Massive gig. All punk rock and all. It was like Depeche Mode and all that then, weren't it? All that kind of stuff. So you had a mixture of punks. And punks would get like 10 minutes where they could go out there and beat shit out of each other and pretend they could dance and pogo. And the rest of it was just basically 80s stuff. But we used to... What would I have been? Oh, God, I knew that 13. Bloody hell. A bottle of cider. Old English we used to get. There was Strongbow and Old English. And I thought Old English were a bit of a better taste because I didn't like it. I couldn't stand the taste of it. So we used to do a bottle of cider and add it in, but we used to do cider with a straw. We didn't actually need to do that. A full bottle of cider when you're 13 is more than enough to do the trick. So that's what we all used to do. Interesting, but yeah, cider. And we once took, oh my God, and I cannot drink this stuff. I can't even smell it. We once thought we were clever. We were probably a little bit older, maybe 14. And it was a Christmas one, all-nighter at the same place. And so we thought, well, we'll have to have even more. So we had a bottle of cider, a bottle of QC sherry, and a bottle of slalom. It weren't good. It weren't good. My mate would collapse all over the floor. His dad come and picked him up, kicked the daylights out of him. My dad come looking for me, but I were on toilet, asleep, having puked up all over the show, probably for about 4 hours. So he come in thinking, oh, he's a good lad. Whereas really, I was just in the same state, but I didn't get catched. And I cannot go near QC sherry. Any sherry, it makes me sick. And Pernod's the same, because I once got annihilated on that as a youngster. And I just can't, you know what I mean. But yeah, cider, I'm not a cider man, to be honest, anymore. AMG also drank vodka and orange. Heartburn if I look at an orange now. Really? I used to love that kick on back of your throat. I could understand that. You know, you watch them on telly. I thought, I could be one of them. No, very careful. But yeah, I used to love that stuff. It's that kick. Oof. And I can feel it now, that kick. I could still get addicted to that now. I once tried one, a few years ago. It weren't even fresh orange, it was some shit. And I thought, well, that's not got a kick. So do they not do fresh orange now? Pumps them up. Tree says, so nice to see Sean in his new office. Well, thank you, Tree. It's very comfortable. I do like it. Jane says, I used to love vodka and orange, got pissed and never got a cold. Tunnel vision, mate, were weird stuff for me. Just tunnel vision, if I had too much. Because you usually start drinking that like when you've had like skinful anyway, you know, like towards the end of the night. Because like when we were younger, we always used to have somewhere to go after last orders, after 2 o'clock, after clubs. And so that's when I start on that stuff. Although I know sometimes I used to start on it earlier. And that's when it used to get interesting, let's just say. But yeah, I used to love that stuff. AMG says, always had a 9-bar until weed became the norm. Gave it up 2 years ago, but my health took a hit. Really? Yeah, well, that's all it were back in the day, innit? That's all it were. And it was good stuff. But I have to say, I think it were heavy on your lung. Because so many lads, if they're doing all bloody hot knives and straight from bongs, a lot of lads in the 90s died. And it were always lung, and it was that stuff. So I do think, and it's completely different smoking it than skunk as it were when it first come out. But we were on that pretty early because a mate of mine started growing it. And it stank to high heaven. But the difference on that stuff, it was unbelievable. Are we supposed to be talking about this kind of stuff on here? But the best experience I ever had was out solid. We called them shooters. Milk bottle. 10 milk pipe, rubber pipe. 2 rubber pipes, right? Stuck in milk bottle, tape it up. A 10mm socket in one of the tubes. And the other one, obviously, for puffing. Now, you used to make the mix. So you get a couple of ounces. It'd take you ages to crunch it all, get it all. Put a little bit of back in it. And you pack it into the socket. Right? And we call them shooters because you to do it in 2. And it went poof, shot in. And that used to take me somewhere no amount of the old green stuff has ever took me. It were like you entered into another room. And to be honest, there were only ever 2 of us left. Everybody else used to die. But it used to just ping. It were like. So even that stuff, depending on how you take it, could take you somewhere else. It's a strange. I mean, I'm going back years ago, of course. But yeah, I don't think we should be talking about this, though, should we? Mind you, it's not for kids, so why not? Jane's bringing a bottle of Smirnoff next time. Oh, that Smirnoff. Yeah, that was main vodka, weren't it, back then? There's that much of it now. I don't trust it. I prefer to know what's going on around me, and years ago I used to drink just to feel included. Now I don't give a shit, not bothered about fitting in. Now this is back in the day when all this alternative media were forming, and it were mainly protest groups at the time, when people used to go and protest. The way the Intel used to do it, when they were capturing people, they'd get something going, attract people, and say, oh, let's all meet in a pub. And everything were in a pub. And before you knew it, you were an alcoholic. And that's how they used to do it back in the day, Intel. Always meet in a pub. And before you knew it, you were a raging alcoholic. Clever, these guys, they don't miss a trick. One Lizard says, I've stopped smoking and gone on oil for health reasons. My head is so much clearer. Well, yeah. I mean, I have to say that's legit. Although I'm not so sure the one I'm using at the minute is as good as the first one I get. So I'm going to get some other one just to see if it is because it's a different one or because I've just got used to it. But I definitely noticed a big difference with that legit. But I'm not so sure this one is as good as the other one. But I believe the best one to get is the one that's made in Norway. All the others seems to be made in China. So you can't trust that, can you? But it definitely has an effect, I'll say that. So, well, oil. Okay. Well, I just quit completely. I just don't need it. And I don't want it, you know. The clarity of mind is just so good. And the way you hold yourself when you're out and about. It is a different thing. And I do quite like that. And I can smell it on everybody all the time. You can just smell it, you know. You're surprised at how many people stink of it, innit? Especially young ones, because they have that much. It can't come out in the sweat even. There's too much of it, THC, in them to get it out even in just sweating. Jane says, AMG, bring an EpiPen as well then. An EpiPen? What are we doing with that, Jane? Very rare drinker, actually, as I'd get a hangover before the night ended. Really? Bloody hell. That's not good. Well, just drink water. I mean, just drink water. When you're drinking, if you just have half a pint of water every now and again, and then as much as you can get down your neck before you go to bed. Now, if you don't want a hangover, rum. Rum does not dehydrate you. This is obviously why the sailors had it. Do you know what I mean? But rum does not dehydrate you. You do not have an hangover on rum. It's amazing stuff. And I do like that Kraken. But that Kraken is just slightly different. But what's that gold? The one that's gold, that is just delicious. But that Kraken, it's powerful stuff. And you don't think it's affecting you, then all of a sudden it does. And it's a weird, it's a different sort of drunk. It's weird stuff. But rum, if you don't like hangovers, just total rum, and you won't have an hangover. Where are we? Jane says, I need to give up the vape. You do, Chuck. They're not good for you. Not good for you at all. I did a report on them when they first came out. They're really not good for you. I mean, I did discuss it the other week, but no, because there's 3 chemicals in there that you have absolutely no control over at all. None whatsoever. And nobody knows what medical marijuana is. Because obviously I went round to these, because it was all kicking off back then when I did this. So I went out my way to go to these people that were starting up to sell them, and I went and I said, oh yeah, you can mix your own, blah, blah, no, it's safe, this is. And I said, so can you tell me what's in this medical nicotine? And they were all, medical nicotine. Well, so you can't actually say you know what's in there. Because nobody knows. Nobody knows what that medical nicotine actually is. But honestly, you know, what, 2020, weren't it, when they put you in lockdown? And we had that blazing sunshine. I grew a tobacco plant, and I did 2 videos on it. Was it 2 or 3? Things shoot up like I don't know what. And I have to say, the other week I thought, I'm going to go on cigars. I'm going to go back to them little cigars. Because I'm not trusting with tobacco anymore. If you get my min. I don't trust it. It's supposed to have no chemistry in it. But I don't trust it anymore. And I've been feeling like this for quite a while. And I'm thinking, and I can't get American Spirit Gold over here, which has got the most amount of nicotine in. But nicotine breaks down all the shit that they've put in you if you've took the juice. So all the nano stuff, all the graphene, it breaks it down. So does licorice. All right, licorice is a really important plant. And people, which is why they've attacked it. You get licorice root today, and they've strained it. It's nowhere near like it was when we were youngsters. But nicotine breaks this thing down, so you can understand why they're attacking it. But when I grew that plant, and as it's growing, the bottom leaves brown. That's the one, you just keep taking them off as it's going. And I did 2 versions. I rolled it, 1 full leaf, and smoked it. They taste exactly like those small Tom Thumb cigars or signature cigars. So I got some the other week, and I thought, I'm going to go back on them. They were 20 quid nearly for 20. And I was like, bloody hell, that's too expensive. Because, I mean, I get 30 grams of this Pueblo. And it lasts me like 4.5 days. I don't smoke that much. So to go from that cost, which is 22 quid now, it's only just gone up. It would be less than 20. For 4.5 days, I'd be going through 20 a day then. I'm just not going to do it. But when you grow your own plant, it tastes exactly like them cigars. So it doesn't look like they're eating cigars or anything dodgy. So again, it's another point here, because at least you're still getting nicotine. But then plants grow on their own. You could just throw seeds in garden and they're massive plants. And they'll grow according to whatever you put them in. Excellent plant. And if you just go down on my channel, you'll see it. 2020, I think. Surely by Industries, I called it, just for crack. And then the other one I was trying to shred it to make a fag. So I bought 20 fags and I took tobacco out. So I had a filter and a fag, and I was trying to shred it and stick it in this fag. It's very difficult to shred a leaf, because if it gets too hard, it just cracks into bits. So it was trying to find that point when it was just, and I was trying potatoes and all sorts just to get it flexible, to try and scribe it. But I was struggling to do that. But anyway, I just put a lot of bits in a fag. And again, it tasted just like these little cigars. So if you're a smoker and you don't want to give up, and you know there's chemicals in all this stuff, grow your own tobacco. It grows like bilio, and as it's growing, the leaves at the bottom, and you just take them off, and you keep taking them off and off and off. Just put them in your drawer and let them dry. Unbelievable. You'd only need them little, them tips, them plastic tips you have on them cigars. You'd only need one of them, and you just have to make it, form it so that it goes in there. You'd be away. And I'm even thinking about doing that next year, and because I do enjoy a fag. I so enjoy a fag. It's I don't want to, because I have given up twice, and the last time I gave up 17 months, I just wanted a fag every time I smell one. But yeah, that's definitely the way to go. Just grow your own. It just tastes like, it'd take a while to get used to the change of the taste, but you do get used to it, because I smoked them cigars for quite a number of years at one point when I were around all posh people, because I didn't want to be sat outside rolling fags, so I had them. And posh hotels and all that, you know what I mean? So yeah, vapes, definitely not good. I mean, there's a few images coming up at the moment where guys just, when it gets you, whatever it is that's doing to you, you're coughing up like a couple of pints of blood. Not good. Now, that's another interesting thing that I saw, that this group of scientists have worked out that the lungs actually play a big part in blood production. Your white blood cells, your platelets, not your bone marrow. Your bone marrow plays a part, don't get me wrong, but it would seem more on the stem cell side is the marrow, but the platelets, your lungs actually create the platelets. So leukemia, it would have ramifications for leukemia, because all they do is attack the bone. It's all about the bone when they're treating you. Whereas if you to recognise that actually you might have a problem with your lung, it could even be parasitic, couldn't it, in your lung? Then, because it's all about platelets for leukemia, then maybe if you were to focus on your lungs, you get your platelets back, your white blood cells. So, very interesting report. I should have actually put it up tonight and we've gone through it, but actually they don't like me doing that kind of stuff, meds. So we won't, but I might put it up on my website. That's took a lot of attention this week because I have to change on the internal server. The PHP's upgrading, and my main bloody plugin for search engines won't transfer up to this thing, so I've had to correlate all my data out of the website so I can replace this plugin before the end of December. And so that's what I've been doing mostly this week, as well as this law stuff. So I've really not had time to put this together for tonight. But where are we? Lorraine says, was there a showdown on the cost of coffee at Car Park? Only resell. No, Joe. It isn't going to happen, is it? Come on, let's be honest. I was being flippant. I was trying to be as pathetic as they are, you know? Because out of the blue, I get attacked and I have absolutely nothing to do with their group. I have nothing to do with them as individuals. Nothing. I never have. And although I've spoken to Simone a few times on Facebook. I think she's on my Facebook. That was through Danny Patronymic. But I have absolutely nothing to do. I've never looked on the Facebooks. I've never looked at any of the stuff. Because I'm not interested. So to do that, you're opening yourself up, aren't you? Let's be honest. And he did it because he thought he found some great secret. So he didn't find a secret, son. I'm not hiding about that. We were blasted all over Lancashire. Purposefully, of course. So that's how they... Because, you know, with people like me, that they can't bend, they can't twist, they can't get you to go off path. The only option left for them is to destroy your character. That's the only option they've got. And make no mistake, they've worked hard at trying to do that. I just don't care. I don't care whether you out there think, oh, I'm not listening to him because I've heard this. Go away. I'm not interested whether you're listening or not. It's not my job to placate anybody, is it? I do my live stream. If you want to come, you can come. If you want to listen, you can listen. If you want to think I'm a complete dick, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It has no effect on my day-to-day. Because I'll talk until that thing there says 0. And then I'll stop doing live streams. You know what I mean? That's how it works. But while there's people who want to watch, want to listen, and want to take part, and we can have a chat, I'll do my Sunday live stream. Because I really don't care. And the days of me really getting excited about this game, they're over. I don't know what's happening to me. There's definitely some big changes going on in my path. Really big changes, because I'm just not... I mean, I haven't put anything on my website for yonks. That's just unheard of with me. I mean, I used to be on that thing 24/7. Not particularly this website, but the ones previously. I mean, that was my life. That were it. But it's like, it's like I've nothing to... I don't want to write anymore. I've not got that. So there's massive changes on my part, and I don't know what it is yet. I can't see what it is that's coming, that I'm going to be doing, but I definitely think music's coming back to me again. It always goes away and then comes back. Because I'm really getting the urge to start creating. And do you know what? This is weird, and I'm even starting thinking I might start singing. Now, there's something to scare your grandma, I'll tell you that now. Because, I mean, I've done it before. But I can't stand my voice, I hate it. But they say you have to get past that before you let rip. But I don't know. I mean, but let's be honest, I have a fucking lot to say, haven't I? I could come out with some lyric, I'll tell you. I'm better than these rappers. Because they talk shit. But that lass I put on my Facebook, that Australian lass, have a listen to that girl. He's on it. And what a voice she's got. I might tap her up, see if she wants to come and play out. I'll play out with her. She's fit as well. I think I'll have to mentor her because I think I might be past it for that age group. You know what I'm saying? Where are we? Mew, are you late? Sinner, what's going on, Mew? Good morning, afternoon, evening, one and all. In the Wise Asylum, hello Sean, thanks for your time this year. 4 years in the Wise Asylum has taught me so much. All the best for the future. Let's see how things. Well, Mew, I have to say, you're an absolute story man. And you know why I'm telling you you're a story man, because you fucking are. And I really appreciate you, my friend. So thanks for them sentiments. And let's see how things. Develop in 25. Well, yeah. I mean, this has been an important year for me as well, I have to say. But not in the ways you'd think. It's been more of a... And I think it's a part of this, whatever shift is going on here with me, because I'm just... I don't know what's afoot, but there's big changes going on in my little arse. And it hasn't filtered up to bed yet, so I'm not sure exactly what's round the corner, but I'm quite excited by it, to be honest. But I mean, I've got to be honest with you, chaps. I mean, my art is music. That's all I ever were into. This sort of took me off path. This was like a... Well, so if I could go back to that, you know what I'm saying? And, because, you know, I've expressed my soul with my gob and me bad spelling and me typing. For what now? God, 31 years. 31 years. Oh, my. Oh, it's nearly 34 because we're coming into 25. Oh my God. 35 years wasted, you could say, of not being a kick-ass rock and roll star. And now I'm old. Now I'm an old bag, for God's sake. It's like, what? 35 fucking years. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, the eldest is 34. I mean, it could be seen as a complete wasted time, but it hasn't, I don't think. It hasn't been for me on a personal journey, I'll tell you that, but 35 years. So I've expressed myself for that length of time with words, written and spoken. I'd like to express my soul with sound, because I do like a bit of sound. I do like plinking, that plonking thing back in the ear. And I do like eating kids as well, but I haven't got a kid. And I've got to sell it though. And no neighbours. Maybe I'll invest in a kid, if I can. Now that'd be good. Because if I took camera down there for a live stream, now that'd be interesting. Shoney boy on kick for you. How about that? And I've got a few amigos that jump in there for a bit of a jam session. You would like that, I'm telling you now. You would love it. So, I don't know. What about the old pipe smoking? Where do you get the backy seat, says Treen. I've got some, Treen. I'm going to have to come and visit you now. Would you like me to fetch you some before it's spring? And you can... Because one flower gives you 1,000 seeds, and it flowers like a good one. So, maybe that's a good idea, because that then makes me come up to see you, doesn't it? But licorice, girl, oh, it's fantastic stuff. For your lungs, breaks down this shit they put in you. It's amazing. I mean, I've used it for a long time because it's really good for your colon. What kicked me off with that word, I'd got these, you know when you're holding stuff in your colon, you can tell you're not getting it all out. This is like about 15 years ago, say. And I went on hunt for stuff that might affect that, and I found these, in fact... Really? Now these, obviously I'm not promoting this company because there's a bag of shit and Russians on it, but I got, what is it? Aloe vera colon cleanse. Now, you look into this and it's got aloe vera, buckhorn, dandelion, fennel, gentian, horehound, licorice, extra rhubarb. Now, this, honestly, when I first got these, and these are probably ancient, they're not, I don't buy them from there now, but these, because I don't seem to need them anymore, but that's because I do licorice on its own. But I took 2 of these about 15 years ago, and I completely emptied myself. It was unbelievable. And the way this is formulated, it takes away all the shit bacteria, but doesn't destroy the good. And so I started to go through each individual part. And of those in there, I found Mr. Fitzpatrick's, a temperance drink, dandelion and burdock. It's a cordial, which I don't usually have it, but every now and again, sometimes I'm having water and it just gets a bit hard on my throat. So I add it to my thing. So I take it that my body's telling me I need some of this dandelion and burdock. And it does make water taste good. And it's a temperance drink, and it's made up here at Rosendale. It's not cheap. Fitzpatrick's, but if you can get it online, I strongly advise you get dandelion and burdock. They've got tons. Cream soda's very nice as well, but the dandelion and burdock is actually doing you good. So from those pills back in the day, I came across that, dandelion and burdock, and found it to be beneficial. And licorice. And I've done licorice ever since. But you look into licorice, it does all sorts. It's really good tackle. Which is why they changed a lot of it to Annalise in a lot of your toffees. Because most toffees you buy in the said in licorice, they're not. It's Annalise. So I'm bursting for a pee. I'll see if I can carry on with going. Even though I'll put a tune on just while I have a pee because I'm popping. Some say smoking mullein leaf repairs the lung. Well, I've heard that, but I think Mew will tell you he's tried it and it didn't have an effect. Is that right, Mew? But would you have to smoke it? Would it not be better to drink it? Perhaps. Gary says, all days they did tobacco smoke. Enemas. Blow that up your arse. Well, indeed. Why not? Well, it's nicotine. It's the nicotine. That's the glorious part of it, which is why I know what they say is medical nicotine in them things isn't. Because if it's destroying what we know it destroys, there's not a cat in hell's chance did they not set up them vapes just to make sure that the majority of foolhardy that went onto them weren't destroying the very stuff that they're shoving in you. You with me? It's not medical, it's not nicotine at all. It'll be something else that's pretending. Now, not only that, nicotine is the greatest method of regulating your blood sugars. This is why when you give up smoking, a lot of people put on a lot of weight. Now, when I gave up smoking that first time, I'd already studied this stuff, so I was ready for it. And what I recognised was there's a 2-week period, it can be from the get-go, but I think with me, it was about, when I got past me 3 weeks, because obviously you're that fussing about everything, I just ate sweets, Fox's fruits, every time I got urge. And then after 3 weeks, it settles again, It's all threes addictions, 3 seconds, 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, yeah. Works in threes addictions. So, once I got past the 3 week, I noticed I was really hungry all the time. Every time I ate, I didn't feel full. And I thought, yeah, that's what I studied. And what if you don't eat too much, it only lasts about 2 weeks. And what's happening there is your body has to go back to the food to regulate the blood sugar levels. Because the nicotine were doing it, and it does it in immaculate. They haven't found a substance that regulates your blood sugars like nicotine to this day. Well, at least I've never seen it, a report on it. But so that's what's going on, and if you get caught out there, you're going to be a fat lord ass, aren't you? That's why a lot of people put on weight when they start smoking. But it's only a short period while your body has to go back to food to regulate your blood sugar. So yeah, from that, those colon cleanse aloe vera put me on to dandelion and burdock and licorice. Excellent stuff. Where are we there? Oh, that's gone on. Becky seeds can be bought online. Well, fair enough. Good stuff. So I got them off a mate. and just started to grow. And when they lock you all down. What about the old pipe smoking? Yeah, I did that when we were kids. We tried bloody everything. Pipe smoking. My granddad used to smoke this tobacco, and the smell of it was absolutely, it was a beautiful smell. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the most beautiful smell you can imagine. Really good smell. But we did try it for a while, but there's that much tar come out of them in your mouth, it's disgusting. Bad stuff vapes, when they freely advertise and glamorise the packaging, you know it's bad, yeah. Well, don't they call themselves Devil? I mean, there's a big gig up here where they make them. It used to be a fire station, which I'm pretty sure is an Intel operation being covered by that. It's a devil. I mean, he's telling you, isn't it? You know. I've got seeds, Jerry, going to grow some next year. I take tinctures which don't help, says Mew. Given they can only patent a product that additives and stuff removed, says Treen. Jerry, I find the tincture okay. I don't know what that is. Jane says, I'll try growing back it and see how it goes. I wasn't very successful with vegetables this year, but it was my first attempt. Well, you need to raise your beds if you can. The thing with growing vegetables is they don't like getting sodden, so raise your beds so that they're not sat, because we've had a lot of rain. Now, people I was just living with, they were growing, but they had a right deep garden because it was walled, and they did quite well. So it's the too much water that ruins veg. So raise your beds, or put them in pots. You know, put them in pots. They grew all the potatoes in little pots, all the strawberries in little pots, and potatoes. Oh, the difference in taste is just, it's out of this world. You know what they're feeding you shit when you eat something that's homegrown. Somebody I lived with a few years ago, she grew her own on an allotment. It's just a completely different taste. And because people have been eating shit for so long, they don't recognise it. I'm going to have a pee, guys. I'm absolutely busted. Just bear with me. I'm not going to obviously leave you just in cold. Just get onto this while I have a pee. I'm absolutely busted.
a little bit. Work it just 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 a little bit.
Whew, that's better. I don't usually get caught like that. I make sure I go before, but I got caught. Sorry about that. Right, so where were we? Yeah, grow it, Jane. It's fantastic stuff, really. It tastes exactly like them Tom Thumb cigars. So maybe try some of them signatures. Get yourself 10. And see what you think. Because they're smooth. You can inhale them quite easily. They don't last me 2 minutes. They smoke much quick. Which is why I know I'd smoke 20 a day if I started on them. Good to hear you getting the urge to make music and start singing again, Sean. Well, thank you very much for that, Lorraine. Andrea says, hello, Andrea. Tobacco grows well, very tall. It's the drying which is important. Dry then cure with honey or whiskey, apparently. I grew some 2 years ago, but tried drying in the shed. Most went mouldy. I actually just put mine in a drawer in kitchen. I emptied a drawer and I just had it all flat, and I didn't have any problem like that. So maybe with the fact you had it in your shed. Hello, Andrea. Gary says, I worked picking tobacco in Mariba, North Queensland in the 80s. All farms have gone now. Have they really? She's good. I posted a tune. You're old enough to be your grandpa. Says Mew. AMG says, Sean, what's your Facebook? Well, I saw your comment, so I'll show it you, then you can see it. There it is. That's my face ache. Make sure I know it's you, because I don't let people on it. In case they start talking shit. You know what I'm saying? So make sure I know it's you, AMG. Maybe message me if you're sending a request, so I know it's you. Where are you? Lorraine says, wondered where you were. Hope all is well. MG, Jane, you can't grow grass. Oh, hey up, there's battle on here now. Well, it's run off again. It does that quite a lot. Right, that really shot up there. Bloody hell. Right. You can't grow grass. So Jane's getting attacked, can't grow. Wife and I feel a shift, don't know what it's happening, but enjoying the game of foot, says Mew. Party and little friends get together. Tree says, my eldest is 40. 40? 40, eh? God, that seems like a long time ago. And yet it doesn't. It's also anti-C. Says Jerry. Looking forward to seeing Sheep Farm live in the spring. May even stay over in a hotel. I noticed in Crumpsall, Manchester, big pieces of aloe vera, as fresh as it comes. It's excellent stuff, that, aloe vera for your skin and everything. It's really good stuff. Andrea says licorice root tincture gets rid of cold sores. My son uses one I made. Works perfect. Lorraine says something good and positive to look forward to, Mew. Not tried smoking, just tincture. So I still don't know what this tincture is. Lorraine says you'll have to bring Sean along. Yeah, I'll come. Jerry says, I see some gym goes taking mullein leaf capsules claiming great benefits clearing the lung. Mew says, yes, I can see Dom and Sean enjoying a chat. Well, why not? Why not indeed? Lorraine says, Dom and Sean have so much knowledge between them. Thanks for that, Lorraine. My grandmother used to sniff snuff. Yeah, we tried that as kids as well. Because that's raw nicotine. I did try some when I'd given up smoking last time. I thought, I could try some snuff. Didn't go down right well. I was sneezing my head off. But we used to, yeah. We used to try everything when we were kids. We were bloody crazy. Twing says, I saw some studies on the benefit of nicotine. Think that's why I don't get all the usual sniffles, bugs, etc. Yeah, it's massive benefits, nicotine. Only 2 podcasts I listen to, Lorraine. We have to be very choosy who we listen to, yeah. You do, because they're filling your head with all sorts of shit out there. AMG says, if Jane raises her bed, she won't be able to reach them. Get some manners, lad. Oh, dear. She needs steps for the toilet. Oh, Jane is getting it. Her Obama. Oh. Trini says, hawthorn tincture lowers the blood pressure, I heard. AMG, Tree, that's interesting. I have seriously high blood pressure. Right, if you've got high blood pressure, lie on your back, put your legs up against the wall, it'll lower your blood pressure in 2 minutes. Jerry says, a heart tonic, Treen. Lorraine says, hawthorn is very good for the heart. Beetroot, my God. Beetroot is one of the best things you can give yourself for energy because it oxygenates your blood as well as many other things. But it's one of them that you instantly feel the benefit of it almost, maybe an hour. You can feel that boost. It oxygenates your blood. So beetroot's amazing stuff. When I go for a carvery, sometimes they have it on and I just fill my plate with the stuff. What you've got to watch for though is you'll go to the toilet and it comes out red, so don't be thinking your ass is falling out, you know what I mean? It does come out red. So be ready for that, people. If you're doing a lot of beetroot, it will come out red in your poo. So when you look at toilet, it's bright red. So if you're not savvy with that, you might shit yourself and think that your liver's coming out your bottom. Yeah, beetroot's bloody delicious. It's brilliant stuff for you. If you've got high blood pressure, you want to be loading that up. When I make a stir fry, I get the beetroot in that, that plastic wrap. You'll get 4 bowls of it. And so I'll make a stir fry and I'll put a blob of beetroot on and about that much of cucumber peeled. You have to peel cucumber because the skin's actually poisonous. And I always, if I eat cucumber with skin, I keep burping. But if you peel it, It's delicious. And beetroot will sort your blood out, and the cucumber will alkaline your body. It's both of those two together are amazing. Hawthorn berries, yeah. Yeah, beetroot's brilliant for you, MG. I have beetroot powder and vitamin C mixed with beetroot juice. Good stuff, man. It's brilliant stuff. You want to be on licorice, actually, Mew. You want to try the old licorice for your lungs. Yes, there's loads of hawthorn around my area, loads. It's called Hawthornden. You should collect it, girl, and dry it out. We should all be doing that. Look into what we can find in our areas and let's start swapping it about. It may be a good idea for us all to meet up. Because springs are coming, so, you know, it's something we could all do. Lorraine says, the clue's in the colour of the hawthorn beetroot. Yeah, the red. Well, you go, yeah, the colour. Like, they also say the shape of it. So you look at broccoli, your lungs. You know what I mean? Radish, again, red. It's blood. Yeah. We used to do that, didn't we, every end of every live stream. I used to go through cool peppers. That book's amazing. That's sort of the height of old school herbal medicine. How he works it, because he works it with the moon. He works it with astrology. They knew their stuff back then. Before Rockefellers. Start having pickled vegetables like sauerkraut and gherkins. Why pickled though? Why would you go pickled? Because I don't eat pickled beetroot. I'd rather get that because it's not I mean, I don't think vinegar's bad for you either. But just asking you, why specifically pickled? Don't you have to make tinctures with alcohol? I don't know who you're talking to there. I don't know. Jerry says, I wish you all a great Christmas and Happy New Year. We win in the end. Thanks, Sean, for all your work. You're more than welcome, Jerry. You're more than welcome, and thanks for joining us, mate. Mew says, I made sauerkraut in 2020. Still eating it. Soft and stunning now. I have seriously high blood pressure, and I have to take a pill, which I know will cause me more issues. But I'll be harvesting some hawthorn berries very soon. Train, if you've got high blood pressure, just lie on your back and put your legs up the wall. 2 minutes. Sort it. Natural way. Anybody that gets high blood pressure, that's all you need to do. It levels you out. But you need to look at your thyroid. You need to look at your thyroid for blood pressure. Let's have a look here. So, iodine, Lugol's. I mean, I don't do this every day. I swap around and do things, just bits of all sorts. And I put because it comes in one of them tubes, I put about that much in tube. So I'll put that much water in my cup, squirt it in, make sure it's mixed up, bang. You know, like a lot of people, you're watching them mix these tinctures and they make a full cup. No, why? You're dragging out the fact that you're drinking these strange tasting things. Minimum water and then it's gone. And that's how I do it. But that iodine is excellent stuff. Really is good stuff. And that, if you've got anything wrong with your thyroid, which is controlling your blood pressure, that will solve it. And make sure you get good salt, because that's another thing that your thyroid needs. But it is all about your thyroid for blood pressure. I refuse to take pharma meds. Absolutely, I don't touch them. I mean, I'd have to have my arm chopped off to go to a doctor. Seriously. I'd die first. There's no way am I going anywhere near them tossers. Just don't trust them, especially after that gig. And I never trusted them before. They have to be gathered on a full moon. And that's important, because that cold pepper, when you get into cold pepper, He'd obviously amalgamated what they'd known for ancient times. It's all about the moon. It's all about certain planets, to pick them, to grow them, and then you get the maximum. But also, if you have a greenhouse, if you play Beethoven in your greenhouse, you'll get 10 times the growth. I mean, if you could do it in your garden, same thing. Plants need certain frequencies to shoot up. Same with copper. Put copper antenna in with your veg, and you'll get triple the growth. But frequency is very important. Beethoven is one, and there's others. But if you play Beethoven in a greenhouse, you watch the difference. Where are we? Lorraine says hawthorn berries are most potent when harvested on a full moon. Yeah, that's right. But a lot of these things are as well. Same with planting. I get the almanac. So Old Moore's Almanac. I've got a copy for this year. I haven't actually had one for a few years, but I've got one for next year. And that tells you when to plant, when to harvest, by moon and by planet, etc. That's the old knowledge that they used to have. So they call themselves farmers, these guys. They don't know their ass from their elbow. They're not. They're chemical workers. I take celery seeds to calm down inflammation now. It's working on my rheumatoid. 10 a day. I buy the powder and put it in capsules. What's that other stuff? Oh, bugger. My daughter's giving it a dog. What the hell's it called? It grows in garden, it's just a flower, I forgot what it's called. You give it dog, 4 days, back legs, fine. It also cures migraines. What the hell's it called? I can't remember what it's called. You'll see it grows like Billy-O. It really takes over. 2 leaves, migraine, gone. But arthritis, excellent stuff. I can't remember its name. It's ridiculous. It's just tip of my tongue. But that'd probably be something you could try train as well. I mean, wow, how great is this info? Train, have you been? I've been, Chuck. Quite a long one as well. I usually go before, but I forgot. So we're absolutely popping. I've been. And I shook it as well. Cayenne pepper mixed in olive oil is supposed to help. Well, I did that as well the other week. I thought, oh, I should put a quarter of a teaspoon in water. Straight away, it opens up all your respiratory, your nose, your ears, your eyes. That's the first sensation you have. Then you can feel it oxygenating your brain. So cayenne pepper is good too. However, I did find that it does make you a little bit watery on brain stuff. But then I think I took a couple just a bit, and then I took a bit too much, I think, and all hell will let loose. So just be careful with that stuff. But it definitely has an effect that you can feel immediately. It's my dog's Facebook page, as I kept getting thrown off. Mia Turner, okay. Well, you can always join mine, Trina, I don't mind. As long as I know it's you, because I just don't let. Unless, you know. Gary says, plenty of illegal tobacco here, about 1/3 of the price. Good, but then you have to be careful, because a lot of it's from China and they put some right shite in it. There's tons of it here, tons of it. 20 quid instead of 30 odd are they paying there for tobacco? I've got the old cold pepper book showing, yeah, it's fantastic. Celery also alkaline the body too, it does. Maybe it's time you did a live show, Sean. What you mean on this stuff? No, because look, the only reason that we're still on this YouTube, because they took quite a lot of videos down, and they kept giving me tests. YouTube kept making me have a test. It's just better. Feverfew, that's the one. Feverfew. Now that stuff, this year, so Dave last were growing it in garden. One of your friends comes up, if he gets a migraine, takes 2 leaves, bang, migraine gone in an instant. And they're only tiny little leaves. So she dried it out, made capsules, and she was giving it to her dog. And then my daughter's dog has bad arthritis in back legs, giving it her, and they get 4 days where they can boom, 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 like pups, and then another one. So I took her a plant of it as well. So, but she's got quite a few capsules. But dog loves it. Arthritic, anything like that. But feverfew, that's the one. It's brilliant stuff, really good. It's just a little tiny daisy kind of flower. It's amazing stuff. Should we have a vegetable growing in contest next year and surefire grows when they're finished? I don't have anywhere I can grow. But yeah, you lot should, and I'll judge for you. But honestly, guys, copper wire in the beds and Beethoven. Watch them grow. But for growing here with weather warfare, you just need raised beds. Whatever they're in, as long as they drain quick, you can't go wrong. They will grow. Celtic salt, says Treen, yeah. Thanks, Sean. I'll do that. I've got Hashimoto's thyroid. I'm taking Lugol's iodine now. Good, good. Has it had an effect? Have you noticed anything? Mew, you stopped reading Culpepper, Sean. I did. I had to do. Look, YouTube have made it clear with me. Just keep off the medical stuff. You know right? So that's why I stopped doing it. I had to, because you know what I'm saying? They don't want that stuff on here, sort of thing. So it's on my website, though. You know, it is on my website, the book, and then I've gone through. So as we went through it, I was making a table. So you go to eyes, and there's your ones, and then you just go down into the book, and you get a full description of that particular thing. Because in the eyes, what do they call them now when you get that on your eye? What do they call it? Where they laser it. They used to call it the film back in the day, and they used to have ointments. They used to make ointments out of herbs and rub it on the eye, and it get cataracts. It gets rid of them. They used to call cataracts the film, and all they used to do was rub this herbal ointment on, and it used to get rid of it. And that's on that page on the website. So, hang on. Oh, what am I doing? I've turned something on. He's yammering over here. Right, I keep forgetting I'm on this keyboard. Here we go. There. So what I've done is we used to go through live streams. I put it together each week. So I started putting it together for quick reference. So, wait a minute. I'm doing it again, aren't I? I'm good at that. So this is the book on my website. So the whole book's there. But as we went through so I stopped in a long time ago. As we went through it, I put it together. So you've got arteries, and then it's blah, 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 blah. But if you go into the book, you'll find them. It's all alphabetical order. Bladder, blood, bowels, brain, burns, cancers, colic, coughs, depression, cramp, dropsy, dead birth, ears, eyes. So for eyes, anemone, adder's tongue, almond tree, aloe, asparagus, ground ivy, angelica, and barley. But there's loads more because we didn't get through the whole book. Feet, fistus, fists, fleas, gout, headaches, and any beets for headaches. So beetroot, because of course it oxygenates your blood. Hemorrhoids, art, humours, infection, inflammation. So adder's tongue, alkanet, aloe, angelica, erismart. For itches, ladybed straw, joint aches, all heal, alkanet, acerbaca, ladybed straw, jaundice, kidneys, all heal, alkanet, almond tree, asparagus, R-smart, bay tree, kidney bean, bean. Now, if you've ever had strong asparagus, when you go to the toilet, you can absolutely stench it. cleanses right through your kidneys right quick. There's a soup that you can buy. I can't remember what make is. It's not Heinz. They do an asparagus soup. Although I've noted, because I had some last year, it's not as strong as it used to be. So they've obviously affected that as well. Leprosy, lethargy, liver. So for your liver, you've got all heal, astrabaca, almond tree, agrimony, amara dulcis, water agrimony, Alexander, angelica, barberry, bone and beets. Lice, black alder tree, lungs, almond tree, amara druids, ground ivy, water agrimony, angelica, balm, bay tree, kidney bean and beets. Mad dogs, measles, mouth, pain, pestilence, phlegm, poison, plague, toothache, sciatica, asparagus, angelica and bean, scrotum, alder's tongue, sex, asparagus, Iraq, wild and stinking. That is actually the name of the Iraq, wild and stinking. And on and on and on. And then, so I've put them up there, but if you go into the book, you get a full description of the thing, and then you get to see the moon, the planet that it comes under, etc., etc. Very interesting, compact book for natural remedies. It's brilliant stuff, but we stopped doing it because they started taking them down, and I thought, it's just to stay on this game. It's just better if we don't touch the gig, because I've said everything I wanted to say anyway. I've done the videos, I did the videos, and it's all on my website. From the day it began till mid-2020, I found and put up everything you needed to know. The only thing I didn't put in at that point was the graphene, because we didn't know about it. But I covered everything there. They were talking about 2 and 3 years after. I'd already put it in. I'd already put it together, and it's... Oh, I've done it again. I keep doing that, so hang on. You just go into the website and search. There you go. Right from the beginning. Everything you need. It's all there. So I've done it. You know, I did do it all for everybody. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't show you, did I? Lockdown News Life and Mix. It's all on that page, and I did a secondary one. It's all you need if you want to go into that stuff. So I don't really need to do anything about it anyway. Plus, I look at the world and I just think, what's the point? Why should I wreck my platform when nobody's listening anyway? Feverfew, thanks Lorraine. Nick says, should we have a vegetable? Yeah, we should. An intentional bad influence. Hey up you lot. Now then, Sean, looking good. So your fermented food helps to generate a healthy gut. Plant a seed a week or two before a full moon and let the moon pull it. Is it comfrey? Now, comfrey is an excellent gig. An excellent gig. It does a lot of things. So, hello, you bad influence. Andrea says, yes, Feverfew, yeah, absolutely. MG, my GP has seen me 3 times in 42 years. Well, mine's retired about 15 years ago, and I've never seen anybody else. We had a discussion on the phone in 2020 where I taught him all about the, Tree says, frequencies are important too. Shaman's frequency, 783 for us, which is the same as the Earth. And the 5, Gert is effing it up. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. This computer's having a fit. My old one, it's starting to make a right racket. Where are we? Benefact says, Life in a Mix, it was such a good thing to meet you. We had some great exchanges and the path we walk isn't over yet. Good times ahead. Absolutely. Benefactor. It's only just cracking on, isn't it, really? If you think about it, we've done the graft. And now it's starting to make sense. Because we're thick. We've been thick all our lives and now we're starting to get it. Thank you, Sean. Thank to you as well, benefactor. You know, it was a two-way gig. We've done some graft, mate. Meeting you changed my whole mindset. Then I'm succeeding in what I'm trying to do, which is good. Thanks for that, benefactor. Andrew says, feverfew leaf, 1 or 2 a day in a salad for 2 weeks gets rid of migraine. You don't have to do that. The guy, my mate, he comes up and pecks 2 leaves off. If he's getting one, bang. And it goes like that. So you don't... This is the thing with all this stuff. They're doing supplements and you think you have to take it every day. You don't. You don't. I mean, in a lot of cases, if your body's missing something, you inject it into your body by some herbal method, it reminds your body to make it or collect it out of the food. My mum's on an homeopathic system, she has, and it's like little balls, and it has a tincture. It has a tiny amount wrapped around this ball, and you bab that in, and it's supposed to encourage your body to remember, this is what we're after. I can't remember what the system's called, but there's 20 million different kind of things, and she swears by it. And she's well in her 80s and very healthy. Deaf as a fruit bat, but she's just got some new hearing aids now, so she knows she can hear everything, so you have to be careful what you say. Can't call her names anymore because she's deaf, because she can hear you. Anything for teeth repair? For repair? Well, there is actually. There's something that makes your teeth grow, isn't there, again? But I can't think of it offhand. So if you've got toothache, you want cloves. Clove oil. But fixing your teeth, that I don't know. Over there. So says Fuzzy. So I don't know about repair there, Fuzzy, but there is something going on there. They found something to make teeth regrow. Castor oil on your eyelids at night is supposed to be good for cataracts. No, I think they shoved it on Herbal. Tree Turner, because they were hard as nails them days, weren't they? Castor oil on my joints, hot compress, that helps swelling. Castor leaf, known as the hand of Christ, is a good remedy for most ailments. Andrea says a drop of castor oil in each eye at night for 3 nights will slough off build up. Thanks, Rain. My wee doggy's got cataracts. Shame. Anything I can do. Andrea looks at the DMSO good for lots of things. Mm-hmm. And the bad info says bone kint. Oh. And Andrea says apparently the 2 week is a permanent migraine. Oh, permanent. Oh, well, I stand corrected. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And we have another live stream before the New Year, of course. So I'll not wish you Happy New Year, of course, but I will say to you, I hope this Christmas is pleasant, it's good, calm, and let's hope we get some snow. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I will say, till the next time.